What's good, y'all? Andres here.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's RB3.
Sabrina here to talk about First Cut's Patreon. Yes.
That's right. Now you get to be a part of the First Cut community, as well as support us individually, RB3, Sabrina, and I, and get access to exclusive content all at the same time.
First Cut really began with the meaning of podcast. That started with myself and Andres Cabrera way back in 2017.
A little over a year ago, they added me on, and what we really do is just champion diverse voices behind the scenes, in front of the camera.
Since we started our YouTube channel, First Cut to House, our podcast, and we've been growing ever since.
This time last year, we crossed over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and now we're just a few hundred away from hitting 4K.
With access to more monetary resources, we're able to hire another editor, we're able to hire more help, and we're just able to promote the show better in general.
So let's run down exactly what you would get on the First Cut Patreon.
You get access to the First Cut Discord server, and we're really excited to be able to have another platform to engage with you guys, to talk about whatever. We're gonna have so many different channels.
Now, our next tier is gonna be our colorist.
Video essays are a promise that we made at the very beginning of First Cut that we never really had the opportunity to live up to until today.
And the next tier is visual effects.
Now, we've always wanted to do movie commentaries here at First Cut, and we finally have the opportunity to do it.
Up next is our sound editor category.
And this tier includes everything from the previous tiers, but also a monthly Patreon exclusive live stream. And the next tier is the post-production supervisor.
We are making this tier our access point for our behind the scenes content.
Next up, we have our composer. You get to be in a virtual hangout with RB3, Sabrina, and I. That means you officially get to hang out with us.
And then, of course, we have the final tier, which is the director.
You could be a part of the First Cut crew occasionally on this tier, where you can actually be a part of some of our episodes. If there's something that you're really passionate about and that you want to talk about with us on the Meaning of Podcast, this is the tier that you want to be at.
We are starting Patreon so we can expand and produce more content for you guys to enjoy.
I'm super excited to see what 2021 has in store for us, which is why this First Cut Patreon is coming. And whatever way you can support, please do. Again, it's patreon.com/firstcutstudios.
Come along, children. Now we're going to have a little music.
This ain't funny, so don't you dare.
What's good? What is up? Welcome back to First Cut Live. I am here with the crew. The starting five, the starting lineup. Obviously, we don't have a five right now, but we have a starting two. Obviously, first of all, our power forward, scoring the threes and looking back, being all cocky and shit. It's Mr. RB3. What's up, bro?
What's good, y'all?
Yeah. No look three. I see it.
Yeah. That was such a deadly shot that the whole NBA had to shut down and move three of the best players to one team off of that. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I saw that video that homie loaded up. It was pretty funny where he's impersonating LeBron based off that.
Yeah.
Anyway, our starting center, our 7-footer, doing the work in the post. The footwork is impeccable. Sabrina's in the house. What is up, girl?
Hi guys, happy to be here. Happy to spend some time with you lovely people. Everybody in the chat, and obviously Andres and RB3 on the screen. It's good to be back. I miss doing this every single week. We skipped 1 week, but it felt like forever.
Yeah, it did. It really did. I missed you guys a lot. I am so excited to get to NBA talk all throughout this First Cut Live. We're going to be talking about the Harden trade. We're going to be talking about Victor Oladipo in Houston. We're going to be talking about Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, and obviously the Phoenix Suns. All coming up today. This is me pitching myself to ESPN. Like, yo, ESPN, where you at?
Yeah.
Hire me.
First take? Nah, First Cut, son. What's that?
Yeah, exactly.
What's that?
I'm going to join Stephen A's world of ESPN, whatever his new show is called.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen
They got to
that.
stop milking Stephen A. Smith, and he's like...
they're
like,
milking him now.
Yeah. It's like how Roka, they milked Roka on Collider, put on every show for like 8 months back to back. I was like, bruh, man, come on, man. You can't do this, man, like that, but...
Dang, bro.
Oh my god. That's so good. I don't even know who the other man is, but I love it.
Yeah, no.
He's basically the face of ESPN right now.
Literally.
Oh, he's the one guy.
He's the crazy.
with the crazy expressions, New Yorker.
He gets impersonated on SNL. Now, he's a very good friend of mine, let me tell you. But I gotta tell you, what he did last weekend. Like that's Stephen A. Like, he is the guy. He's the man.
Yeah.
I swear, man, I love First Take. That's part of the reason why we got our name First Cut.
Yeah, of course.
Low key.
Absolutely.
I like Max Kellerman being the Max Kellerman that he is, and then Stephen A. It's part sports commentary, it's part theater, it's part wrestling. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like the Schmodown, and I'm playing.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, you're nominated for a lot of awards.
Yeah. Tomorrow, man.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you guys care at all about the Schmodown, join us tomorrow for the awards. We are doing our Schmodown Awards tomorrow. I saw the schedule and I was like, crap, where's my pee break? Just because there's so many in a row.
Because you're nominated for so many. And you know what's funny? I never really cared about the awards because A, I was never nominated for one during my whole time of being there. And B, I was never nominated for one. And B, I also, I always worked like as the crew, so I never really cared like as an audience member like that much, you know. But I gotta tell you, I watched every single prediction, reaction podcast, like every single one, the call to action, Schmodown rundown. Even some people who you might have like played against, and it was just funny seeing like the scales of like people who knew you for like just being part of the Schmoes, personality, and just thought you were more lovable, and there's the scales of people who you just like dominated against and just like kind of have a little more of a spicy take towards you. So I don't know, it's just kind of funny. It's just always I don't know, it's just interesting. But I'm excited. You gotta at least win. My prediction, at least comeback player of the year or Star Wars player of the year. I
say both.
Or both.
I say both 100%. There's nobody else who did it like you this past year, but in Star Wars or just like as a comeback player. I'm really, really excited to see how that all shakes up. I was like RV3. I was watching and I was just paying attention to what everybody said about you. Like, I'm like,
yeah,
like cross that line, just watch.
Yeah, but I can't, I don't want to see. The thing is, like, there's part of me that also wants to go into every comment section and be like, I trust is the player of the year, and then there's part of me that's like, maybe that might actually hurt, the campaign. I mean, that's probably not a good image look for what we're trying to do here. But
if I'm being honest, I haven't seen too many. I've seen a few. I have to give a shout out to a few. I've seen a couple, like a certain point of view. I've seen them.
Oh yeah,
a little bit of call to action, a little bit of let's get ready for not for me, but when they talk about like the new people and stuff, just because I feel like that's kind of interesting. I can't lie, there is a couple haters, not necessarily in the after shows, not in the after shows. They're all pretty great. Every single one of those hosts are great. I meant in the comments, there's like one or two people who always show up to remind people that Ace sucks. They're like, Ace sucks, by the way, and I'm just like, I'm pretty sure you're a hater because you show up on every comment section just to say that to every after show. So. Honestly,
it's a little nod to you. They have that much energy to hate on you. So like, you live rent free in their minds. That's fine.
Period.
Yeah. And my thing too is like, they don't live in my mind, bro. I'm too busy thinking about our Phoenix Suns. I'm too busy thinking about Harden and the Nets and important stuff in this world, man.
And Netflix.
Ooh,
yeah.
Good transition.
Let's not get to that. Let's stay on that basketball. Not playing. Yeah, let's get to it. Why not? Let's start with that topic. Obviously, I definitely want to get to Ray Fisher because I feel like that might be a little bit of a bigger topic than even the Netflix story.
Yeah, but that's not fun, man. Let's stick with the fun.
Yeah, so Netflix announced a crap ton of movies. I already cussed, so I don't even know why I'm, censoring myself. But either way, they announced a ton of movies, and it seems like they're going to release a movie every weekend, a new movie, an original movie every single weekend. With an all-star cast, with people like The Rock, with people like Halle Berry, with people like Lin-Manuel Miranda, with people like there's that new movie starring, oh my god, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
No, damn, Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie doing some soldier sci-fi movie. Either way, Netflix basically pulled I can't believe I'm going to do this. Pulled a Willie Tiber and declared war on Paradise. And declared war on cinema. That's an Attack on Titan reference that no one gets unless you saw Sunday's episode. Either way, they declared war on literally every movie studio. They pulled out a nuclear weapon. They put their hand on the trigger and they were like, try me, bro. We have more movies than any studio. We're going to release all these movies every week. We have the biggest stars. We have the biggest budgets. We have the biggest creators, biggest directors. Come at me, bro. Like straight up, like Netflix declared war on every damn studio there is with that announcement. In my opinion, I was like, bro, chill out, Netflix. We already know like you guys had a lot of power. Like you don't have to like flex your muscles that you grew over 2020 because everyone was just tuning into Netflix in 2020. So now they have extra inflated ego and extra inflated budget. What do you guys think about this whole thing? Because I thought it was insane.
No, you go.
Okay. I had no idea. I had no idea it was going to be this many. That's more than one movie per week basically coming out, or like one movie a week coming out. 71 movies just back to back to back to back, along with HBO Max, along with everything that's coming out on Disney Plus. How are people even going to find the time to consume this much content? I feel like a lot of the stuff stands out for sure. We have Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's coming off of obviously doing a Disney film, the success of Hamilton, and obviously making his directorial debut and starring my boy, Andrew Garfield. So I feel like they have such a good mixture. What they really displayed in this little short clip that was posted, they showed that they have a lot of different types of like genres and types of films for people to like chew on. We have the To All the Boys I've Loved Before. We have like more serious dramas, a little bit of everything. So I'm excited to see what goes down. A little hesitant because, damn, when theaters open up, are these going to be in theaters as well? Or is this just strictly Netflix? Or is it a limited release? I just feel like I have a lot of questions.
Sure. RB3, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, there's a lot that like that gets me excited about this, right? Because I'm always been pro Netflix, like especially when it comes to like awards contenders, like and independent films. I'm just pro streaming in that front because it definitely gives more access to people in areas that can't get to a movie theater necessarily, right? And I'm always more of a fan of Netflix. I personally been a fan of Netflix, especially more in like HBO Max and like all these other things, because they kind of built their own model and paved their own way and have their own kind of like mini franchises like in their own way, right? Like you talked about like To All the Boys, I don't know, what was that called again? To
All the Boys I've Loved Before.
That one, yeah, exactly. And then they have the other one that's the teenage kissing booth, right? So I mean, yeah. they got like their own like mini franchises. Not even talking about Stranger Things. They're building their own movie studio in Albuquerque. Like they're making a play to become one of the top tier brands, distributors, studios in the world. But I think they're just doing it in a unique fashion. I personally am not a fan of as much of the HBO way of let's throw all of our IPs and everything that we've been planning and anticipating for years. Let's just throw that on HBO Max because that's the only circumstances that works, right? I mean, I get it because, based on the times and how things are going to go, I hope that things are going to get better sooner than later. I hope that's the case, but you can never be sure. But at the same time, what are they supposed to do? But, I am hoping that maybe this will incentivize studios, because if you look at like the numbers of like the retention rates of a lot of these streaming services, a lot of people actually do end up sticking around for a good chunk of them, except for like Apple TV and Peacock. But people stick around for HBO Max, people stick around for this stuff. But I do hope that maybe there's a reality where Netflix is kind of dominating streaming game and we still see Warner Brothers and Disney releasing stuff theatrically and still supporting that industry too. So.
Yeah, I mean, Hollywood is a business of what have you done for me lately? Yeah. And it seems like Netflix is definitely doubling down on that idea, considering what have you done for me lately as literally releasing a new movie every week. So it's lately as in every week and as in a new series every week that does really well. pretty much every week. Like, regardless of the fact if you're behind on a show or not, there's always a new one that pops up. Like, let's say I want to watch The Witcher, a show I haven't seen. After I watch The Witcher, I'm going to watch Queen's Gambit. After I watch Queen's Gambit, I'm going to watch this Witcher season 2. Like, it's going to be out by then. You know what I mean? Like, there's always something that's coming out, and Netflix seems to be doubling down on that, which opens the question to you guys. What do you guys think as far as who is top dog right now? I think Disney's always going to be top dog, but who is in that, top 5 right now? Because I think Warner Brothers might be losing steam. I think a couple other studios might be losing steam as well, maybe even Universal a tiny bit. I don't know what you guys right now rank as like the top 5 studios off the dome, like straight up off the top of your head. What do you think, Sabrina, or RB3 if you have it?
No, go Sabrina. I'm sorry.
No, you go first.
I can't keep doing this. And
come on, bro.
No, you go.
Top 5.
So I mean, it's funny when you talk about studios. Part of me I can't as a film school person, I can't take away like historical precedent and what like ages and generations and decades of stuff goes into it, right? So there's always going to be a part of me that looks at Warner Brothers and Paramount with an extra like pair of like glasses of like, but they stuck around for like 100 years.
What are they doing now though?
But what are they doing now?
What are they kicking ass with now?
I mean, Paramount.
What is Paramount doing?
Paramount's not doing great, but they're under Viacom. Warner Brothers is not doing great, but they're under AT&T. It's at this point, it's like not even about like movies anymore. It's about the commercialism. It's about the making money. It's about like how much, if we spend $200 million on this movie, will it make us $1 billion? Like that's the kind of game we're playing now. And I think that's the game we need to curve. And I think streaming is curving that game. But if it comes to like ranking them, I mean, frankly, I'd personally put Netflix as the number 1. I mean, like, I personally,
Disney?
Yeah, I mean, Netflix is actually making hand over fist profit right now. More people are keeping in the streaming wars in terms of that retention rate that I was talking about, in terms of people who stick around to a streaming service. Netflix is by far and away has the highest retention. Like nobody cancels Netflix. I've never heard of anybody. I've heard of people canceling Disney Plus. I've heard of people canceling Amazon Prime or stop using Amazon Prime. Right? Not so much HBO Max. Again, HBO Max has a relatively high one for a lot of stuff, but like that just goes to show there's like a brand loyalty with Netflix that other studios just don't have necessarily. And Disney has that for sure too. And Disney is like the king of the box office, but in the age of 2020 where there's like literally no box office, it goes to show that, Netflix is really surviving.
You say that. But what about The Mandalorian? And now WandaVision might be kicking ass this weekend.
I'm excited for WandaVision.
I just feel like if you're not really into the whole like Marvel Star Wars thing, there's not a lot for you on Disney Plus. And I know they're super popular, but this is branching out to not just like the generic Marvel movies, like not just the average Marvel movie. This is something a little interesting with WandaVision. So if that captures someone's attention, cool. But that's not going to be for every single Marvel fan, judging from like the trailers and everything. It just seems that way. And I feel like with Netflix coming out with stuff that's like all different genres all across the board. Yes. They pick up really great films just in general. I feel like I agree with RB3 where I never hear about people canceling Netflix. Everyone has had Netflix for years. And I feel like it's just one of those things because they honestly do have a really great variety. And like I love Hulu and they had like a great one with like Palm Springs. But Netflix has already kind of been doing it all year. So I feel like they were geared up for the streaming wars before it even started because they had The Old Guard, they had Lovebirds, they had a bunch of really great films that were totally like very like films that I would have loved to see in a theater. And then obviously last year with The Irishman, Marriage Story, I was just looking at these budgets and I don't know how Netflix does it. Like seriously.
Oh, I do.
Well.
I mean, they've been doing the same thing. They escalated what they did, what they've been doing last year, basically showing off their numbers when it comes to how many people tune into a series. We talked about it a little bit on the First Cut Live when it comes to how many people watch The Witcher. And they basically say like 180 million people watched this show. And it's like, yeah, they watched a minute and a half of it. And then they sell those numbers to their stock investors. Their stock goes up and then their price goes up because they keep raising their price. And then they inflate their budget because they are able to justify those amount of production budget.
Yeah, but I mean, that's no different than what Disney. I mean, that's no different than what Disney Plus is doing. That's no different than what the music or Spotify or YouTube or all these other platforms are doing either. Like,
here's the difference. IP is king, bro. And we know this. We've known this for years.
And
every
HBO
time
Max has the IP, though. HBO Max has the IP.
Disney has the IP. Disney is the one who has the IP. And I feel like as much as we can be like, that new, Steven Soderbergh movie, dope. Who the hell is going to watch this Steven Soderbergh movie over watching WandaVision or Bucky and Winter Soldier or The Mandalorian or anything that's IP related on Disney Plus? Like, as much as we like these Netflix movies, like we talking about us three or a lot of people that we know, IP still gets more retention rate. IP still gets more people to finish shows. IP still gets more people to start shows and to start movies. That's just facts, bro.
But they're only going to give us one episode of TV. We're only going to get one good episode of TV every single week. Like, we're going to get one episode of WandaVision, and after WandaVision's over, we're going to get one episode of a new Star Wars show every week. Netflix is giving us movies every week and TV shows like pretty much every week too. Like,
True,
that's not even talking about the TV show rollout that they're going to.
Their shows get more views than their movies, though.
I was just going to say,
Netflix shows.
You were talking about the numbers, and of course those numbers are so wild when they post it and they're like this many million households. But people genuinely are talking, like on social media, people talk about Bridgerton. I'm completely out of that conversation because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But I see everybody talking about Bridgerton, Queen's Gambit, all of those things. Once those hit, like, people talk about it on social media almost the same way, honestly, as like a Mandalorian. Like, seriously, people talk about it. It's just a different kind of audience, I feel like. It's the people that aren't into that kind of stuff that kind of like attach themselves to all of these shows. And honestly, in terms of quality, it's quality stuff. I haven't seen Bridgerton, so I can't speak on that. But it's really, really quality stuff. And like I mentioned, I was watching Normal People on Hulu, and I know that was like a sleeper hit that kind of happened on like social media, and that's also some really great stuff. So I mean, we haven't seen anything from Disney yet when it comes to the shows. Like, we're about to see the WandaVisions, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We haven't seen like this rollout besides the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian laid the blueprint for what they want to do in the future, but we haven't seen them continue on with other different shows and different ideas. So we have to see this, because this could be a total disaster for all we know. I'm not saying WandaVision is going to be bad, but they have a lot on their plate. And I just I feel like this way of like coming out with the films that Netflix is doing, that's a way to keep people entertained and keep people wanting more along with their shows.
You see, but that's studies show differently. Studies show that more people tune into series than anything else on Netflix. And when they do, you start to see the difference of numbers between the biggest Netflix shows and the biggest show on Disney Plus. And also, the reason why WandaVision will at least somewhat succeed, regardless of any type of quality, any type of story, which might be the best thing we've ever seen in Marvel, by the way, is because of cinematic story connection. The idea that, oh, there's a rumor that your favorite character is going to show up. I guess I got to finish WandaVision. Oh, this is going to show up in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, but
that's going to be connecting to Spider-Man 3. You better watch WandaVision.
That's only
if you
one,
like Spider-Man.
But I think that's only one corner. I think that's only one corner of film watchers, though. And I think what Netflix is doing.
That's a big corner, bro.
It's a big corner, but
that's a $2 billion corner, fam.
It's not the whole enchilada. And I think Netflix has the whole enchilada. Look at the different
That's
genres.
An enchilada. Bro, that's a big one.
No, but I mean, it's not the same. Look at all that Netflix had to offer in different genres, right? We got the Black Cowboy movie with Regina King and Jonathan Majors that I never heard of before.
Exactly, no one's ever heard of, though.
Super dope.
That's what I'm saying.
But I mean, that's going to get the hype up. I mean, that's getting the hype up. Look, when they showed that little, and they knew what they were doing, showing that little Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence tease at the end.
Yeah,
they knew what they were doing. I was like, oh,
they were like,
God.
Hey, Leo.
Yeah.
That's at least 100 million right there.
Yeah, that's the you got the biggest movie star in the world, Netflix movie for sure. That to me, like, that's just telling me like this is the direction that the industry is going. And I think for all the better. I think for all the more creative freedom. I think all the creators are going there. I'm seeing, and when you actually look up that movie that Leo and Jennifer Lawrence are in, Don't Look Up, I think, or Don't Look At, or something like that.
Don't Look Up.
and look up. Yeah, with and it's actually directed and written by Adam McKay, and that's something that we literally would have seen a couple years ago coming from Paramount or Sony or something like that. But this is coming on Netflix, coming straight to our eyeballs. And that's not even to mention Red Notice, Army of the Dead was, Zack Snyder and Dave Bautista, like all these really, really exciting things that I think are birthing new IPs. And I think that is, more creative.
That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I think it's going to engage more audiences, frankly, for the long term than, recycling the same corner of the market.
I love Netflix, and I really do. I watch a ton of it, and I probably watch a lot of stuff that you guys don't watch. I mean, obviously, you guys are talking to the biggest Crown fan there is. I think The Crown is incredible. It's one of the best shows I've ever seen. Yeah. And it's on Netflix, and it's high budget, high quality. Like, I'm talking high. But here's my thing about the movies. Bear with me here, guys. Netflix released like maybe 65 movies last year, like a shit ton of movies last year. How many of them, if we're being real, were actually good? Like, we're actually like really, really damn good movies. Oh, like, maybe you can count them with your hand. That's kind of like
okay, not like the kissing booth stuff. Like, I understand.
That's what I'm saying. Like, those movies are the ones that come out the most, though.
But that's for a specific group of people, and it's popular. So I mean, even if it's like low, and I wouldn't even say it's low quality. It's just.
But that's what I'm talking about. Talking about quality.
Standards. But it's not like low quality. It's just not our thing because these kids are enjoying it. Honestly,
bro. No, stop it. Also stop it too, Andres. Literally, some of the biggest Oscar contenders this year are Netflix movies. Like,
yes, I'm thinking of Ending Things.
I'm thinking of Ending Things. What else? Ma Rainey. Yes.
Five Bloods.
Five Bloods. Look at that. You're listening to me yourself.
That's it.
There's Matt. What other studios have four movies in contention? What other studios have 4 movies in contention? And that's not even to mention. And that's not even to mention. That's not even to mention the stuff that is flying under the radar, right? The stuff that's like His House that people have been telling me about that I've been looking forward to seeing. Or or when we're talking about TV shows that don't necessarily get the same kind of Emmy love, like The Haunting of Hill House or The Haunting of Bly Manor. There's stuff that like don't necessarily even get the awards attention, but they're just flooding the market with quality content. A lot of it is trash, and a lot of it does fly under because it doesn't get the same kind of marketing promotion for sure.
Can you say that last part again? I'm just playing.
Some of it. A lot of it is trash. A lot of it's trash, but there's a lot of good stuff, and a lot of stuff that we might consider trash is somebody else's treasure.
That's true.
So
that's true.
This is for a different audience. I don't expect you to be watching The Kissing Booth and going like, "Oh hell yeah!" Like the kids. Like,
I try.
Ending.
Exactly.
I try.
It's so damn good. But I feel like they're, like we said, like RB3 and I have been saying, they have a lot to offer with this list. Like, looking at some of the things, also Don't Look Up, not only does it have like Leo and Jennifer Lawrence, it also has like Timothée Chalamet, Ariana Grande.
Kate Blanchett.
I feel like Kate Blanchett, like there's a bunch of people in this film that I feel like can definitely get a huge audience. And basically everybody already has Netflix, so it's just about keeping it. And I feel like they are offering enough for us to want to keep it. But with Disney Plus, they only had The Mandalorian basically to offer this entire time. Like truly, they only had The Mandalorian for the past 2 years.
Which is impressive, though, if you really think about it. They only had one show, and they still had all those people subscribe. Like that's that's kind of wild.
Nostalgia. They really they had a lot of things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And so like they were winning kind of in that way. So we'll see how the quality of everything is going forward, because they do have a lot of shows and a lot of things to offer. We'll check out that rollout. But the thing about me is that I don't like watching shows week to week. So I'm probably going to wait a few weeks for WandaVision and then binge it and then maybe watch like the last 2 episodes week to week. And that's how it's going to be with me for every single one of these shows. There's no way I'm going to be able to wait week to week. With everything that we got going on, I want to feel it fresh. I want to feel that story fresh.
It's so interesting, right? Because I feel like the Netflix binge model has been both really good and really bad. Obviously, I've told my history of Netflix on here many, many times. It started with House of Cards season 1. And I literally got Netflix just to watch House of Cards season 1. And I binged the whole thing. But it's one of those things where I feel like Netflix still makes their bread and butter off their shows. RB3 and I had this discussion like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I don't think you were there, Sabrina. About like, I know, I didn't know you. What is Netflix's biggest IP? And we agreed it's Stranger Things. And we all agreed like that is the best four quadrant, actually quality, actually fun, and actually like all ages kind of show that they have, and they can actually build stuff off of it, and they do. Mainly LA based, unfortunately, or maybe like a Universal Horror Nights or something. They had the Stranger Things bays last year. But
I
it's
just went to the Stranger Things
drive-in
drive-in experience.
Yeah, I wanted to go to that. Yeah.
Ron donated $5. Speaking of flying under the radar, Dark ID, one of the greatest television shows ever. I'm thinking of ending things is my top 3
Very googly moogly. She coming in
movies
rough.
of 2020. Netflix.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm gonna replay in a second, but thank you, AA Ron. That's a great example. People, if you
I missed it all.
Oh no, I'm gonna replay in a second. But
okay.
But that's a great example. People, we're actually today only, we are bringing down the price of the robot to $5. That's right. If you want to get your question in for $5, donate at the link at the top of the description. Firstcut.live. Firstcut.live. That's where you come in. You can ask your questions. You can jump in on Netflix topic. You can jump in on, some other topics we want to jump into later today with Ray Fisher, Chris Evans, all these other amazing, wonderful movie topics. Jump in with your questions. $5. Firstcut.live.
The other thing too, I missed the whole thing, so I don't know if you want to read it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Just so we can address it, and I won't ignore it.
No, give me 1 second. Sorry, this is not great radio here.
He mentioned a show, but I forget what show it was.
Is it dark?
Ron donated $5. Speaking of flying under the radar, Dark ID, one of the greatest television shows ever.
Dark ID?
I'm thinking of ending things is my top 3 movies of 2020. Netflix offers enough quality for me. Disney Plus does nothing for me.
Disney Plus does nothing for him.
Yeah, I got the last part. Dark?
Yes.
Oh, it's that German show.
Yeah, Dark is, but just ID instead of is. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of Dark a lot. It's that one German show that's on Netflix.
Yeah, a lot of people have been hyping that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I might check it out. But again, my list is insane. But that's another thing too. Is 2 things I want to get to. The Netflix price increase. It's going to keep happening every year by year. When is like you said, Sabrina? I really do feel like that Leo thing is Netflix talking to the audience, being like, "Don't worry, guys, it's going to be worth $25 a month," and you're going to be like, "It's okay, because we got Leo and Timothée Chalamet." Because eventually it might be $25 a month. Is that going to be like, all right, this is too much money, I need to cancel this? I don't know what you guys think as far as like when is too much when it comes to prices.
It's just hard. I mean, with all of these streaming services, it's like, which ones can you keep? I feel like Netflix is an essential one. It's one of the ones I've had since they were like that DVD whole like rental thing. So, and I've never wanted to cancel or anything like that. But also, I don't want it to be too expensive. I mean, like, there's people that are like broke college students. They're not going to want to pay $25 just for a bunch of movies, because also, how much time do you have to watch all those movies? Even though they're coming out with them, that doesn't mean we're going to be watching every single one of them. So I feel like, what's like the base price right now? I don't even remember.
I think it's 17. Is it 17?
I don't know. I know the price.
If they go to like 20, if they go to 25, they would really have to justify it for me. But if they go to 20, I'm like, whatever.
I mean, part of it is like, part of me thinks also about the AMC A list too, right? And AMC A list was $25 a month, right?
That was a theater though.
That was a theater experience.
Yeah.
But how much of that are we going to have left? Will Netflix be the theatrical experience going forward? Like, will that be the only experience going forward? So that's kind of the question that they're kind of, we're kind of, as audience members, going to be kind of put in a position where we're only going to have streaming services, and cable's going out the door too. So it's like, people are going to depend on streaming services. They're kind of cornering the market and going to keep bringing the prices up as much as they want, which I'm personally, Netflix also produces a lot of great documentaries. They bring a lot of great independent filmmakers, young filmmakers up, and allow them to make their movies. I'm excited for that Lin-Manuel
the Andrew Garfield
Miranda
musical.
movie, and Halle Berry. Like, I don't think those kind of directorial debuts wouldn't have happened on like a major studio per se, maybe Disney or something like that. But I don't know if it would have been the same kind of fashion. I like that Netflix is also a playground for young people and talented people to experiment with things that will go outside the norm.
Have you guys seen the Key and Peele Gremlins 2 sketch?
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like that's what Netflix is. Where the pitch meeting, where Jordan Peele plays the super flamboyant guy, and he's like, anything you guys want, imagine it, and it's yours. I think that's what Netflix is. They like go to filmmakers, and the filmmakers are like, I want to make a movie about this guy from outer space who sings songs. They're like, yes, 200 million, here you go. And I think that's great, right? Because we want more craziness. We want more creativity. We want these, like you said, these first-time directors to have a chance to make their passion project. And that's what Netflix is giving them. And I can't deny that that's what Netflix does, and it does so well. Yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot there. I still feel like there's a way to go, because at the rate they're going, they still need the price to justify their like you said, Sabrina, when you read their budgets, like they're crazy budgets. Like they're 200 mil, 250, 300, 150, like it's insane. Like some studios like don't even give this money to Guillermo del Toro, who's like one of the great makers of all time. And even they're like, we're not going to give you 100 mil, bro. And at Netflix, they're giving like randos like 200. And it's like, damn, bro, that's insane. But I still feel like there's so much good stuff there, almost to the point that, let me finish up with this. Let's bring it back all the way back to 3 years ago, RB3. My issue with Netflix, and I said this on Schmoes, so it might have been even further back than 3 years ago. When I said that the problem with Netflix isn't necessarily the content that they have or the quality that they have inside their content, but maybe their marketing. Because how many stuff does go underseen, undermarketed, not really talked about, not really publicized. I still feel like that might be an issue. I don't know if you guys agree or not. How do you feel about that? Because I still feel like they pick, like, we're going to spend all of our money promoting Martin Scorsese and all of our money promoting Scarlett Johansson. Like the two whitest homies there are. You see what I'm saying? Like they still don't back up like their creators as much as I would like them to. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I just feel that.
I mean, I think they do back their creators. I think they do market things efficiently. I mean, if you drive down like Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, it's all Netflix billboards.
But that's like, here though. I
mean, that's who they're marketing to. That's the award season play, right? And that's like the building of the buzz. But also too, again, this is the counterpoint that I made probably when we first talked about this, is that people's algorithms just simply look different. Like I don't know what somebody who watches, the Kissing Booth and To All the Boys I Loved or whatever, what their algorithm might look like, because it might be all teenage love stories, and that might be the side of Netflix that I don't know about. It's like YouTube, like almost like Netflix is almost getting to the YouTube point of things, where you could go down a rabbit hole. It could keep, if you just hit the auto play, you just keep looking at the suggested or recommended, you just keep going further down like this path, and you keep getting suggested different things. So I think they're taking a more personalized strategy towards pushing content towards people who want to watch that content, and not necessarily giving a care about people who don't want to watch it. I don't know. I think that's probably pretty successful model. Now that being said, too, though, I did hear some inside scoops about the way Netflix does business, and they just hire a bunch of different marketing companies to hire like for different projects. Like apparently they have like over some like 30 or 40 marketing companies, like, under like, doing different things. Like even like their different Twitter accounts. Like I know, like I'm a big fan of like their Netflix, like Film Club or whatever, like their YouTube channel and all that. But apparently that's just a whole different marketing company that has nothing to do with Netflix. Like, that like runs that or something like that. So I don't know. It's stuff like that. That's interesting. But, I think they try to put a push behind as much as they can, but they're also spending a lot of money on content. So.
That's the thing, because I think they spend it more on than they do on the marketing. I don't know. What do you think, Sabrina?
Well, yeah, I basically agree with RB3 as somebody who we have like the profiles, and sometimes I'll accidentally click on like my sister's profile instead of mine on my TV, and her page looks so different from mine. It's like when we did our Charlie Kaufman episode and I went on a Charlie Kaufman binge, and then I watched like I'm Thinking of Ending Things and stuff like that. All I was getting was like Being John Malkovich and like mind-bending, trippy movies, all that kind of stuff. But that's the thing. I think that's the beauty of Netflix, is that it is so difficult. It's like a blessing and a curse. It is difficult to go through it and genuinely see all the options that you have. You could be looking for something completely outside of the box. But then it keeps you scrolling, and it keeps you seeing like, oh, let me add that to the watch list. Let me add this to the watch list. And I feel like that's how they really get you, because I also think it's the best like formatted. I feel like some of them, I hate going through them. Like I hate going through Hulu and things like that. The way they have the specific categories on the homepage, I genuinely love on Netflix. But I don't know. I agree with RB3 too, is that when I drive like and see all the billboards, I saw the old guard was getting pushed heavy. I saw that everywhere. I saw that on like bus stops. I saw that on billboards. I saw it on a side, like painted on the side of a huge building in Hollywood. So I really do think that they back their creators and they give them the freedom to do what they want. So I don't really see anything like too wrong in that. And obviously there's times where you're like, Mank is going to get pushed heavily, of course, probably heavier than I'm Thinking of Ending Things, or definitely heavier than like the old guard and things like that. Yeah. But I really love this huge push for like the Five Bloods and Ma Rainey's and all of that. And I think that's what makes it special.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. I think recently, and I think, you know, when we might have talked about this before, it might have been like in 2016 or 2017 address, but I think now they have changed things up. I think they are giving somebody like a Spike Lee a bigger push than probably in a lot of other studios would give him at this point in his career. Same thing I think they gave, I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel like they publicize When They See Us a good amount too. That
was the one that I wish they did more, to be honest.
Okay.
Because I mean, I ranked it as like the best thing I saw all year. Remember that year it came out?
Yeah. I think a lot of people did, you know.
But I think you're right though. I think it depends where.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I wish it was marketed a little bit more universally. Like everyone gets to see or should see this. Right. Because I thought it was that good of a story, but
yeah, but I mean, I thought it got a lot of attention though, but I don't know. But see, that's the thing though. It's all kind of subjective, but I think that's what's fascinating about Netflix is the fact that they have like this kind of stranglehold on the industry where there are some that they promote like so rapidly, like the Michael Bay ones, or I'm sure them putting The Rock and Gal Gadot and Ryan Reynolds all there for the Red Notice. Like you could tell that's like what they think is going to be like their biggest thing, you know, like they're really, really pushing that heavy. So it's obviously things they're going to give more preference to, but.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because I never forget watching Mank alone in a theater and that scene where he's talking about, I think it was MGM, right? MGM?
Yeah, MGM, yes.
And he was talking about like the corruption, the way they do their business. And I was like, yo, this is low-key Netflix talking shit at the studios about the studios now. Netflix is a studio disruptor. It's a Hollywood disruptor. That's just facts. It really is. Mm-hmm. It's here to change things. It's here to literally switch things up. It's here to give different people a chance. It's here to kind of change the old Hollywood way that is frankly extremely racist and extremely old-fashioned. And it's really outdated. It's this weird system of the same people get the same power doing the same thing over and over, and they get away with it. And that's the main reason I'm always going to support Netflix in some capacity, because I really do feel like they are here to be like, you know, like flipping people off as they jump off a building and blow up the building. Like that's kind of what they do. Yeah. They really do disrupt media corporations that have been a little too powerful for a little too long, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. And speaking of which, a big one that's been in power for quite a long time is the Warner Brothers.
That was a great transition. I do want to do that. But I'm sorry, that was wonderful. But I know my bad. But I do want to.
It's the James Harden pass to John Wall.
Yeah, no, I had to intercept. But I did want to. I forgot to say this at the top of the stream. But I did just want to say real quick. Tomorrow is actually myself and Destiny's anniversary.
Oh, so no way.
I just wanted to give a quick, kind of shout out.
You gonna sing?
Nah, I just wanted to
sing it.
Nah, But I just wanted to make sure that Destiny got a shout out, dedicated my portion of talking on the stream to. Oh yeah, there's music. Yes.
No, but I'm saying, what song is this though?
Well, hold on.
If we talk over it, we don't get copyrighted, I don't think.
Oh yeah,
so.
we gotta talk over it.
I was like, how freaky is this song though?
No, it's just this is.
What are you trying to say, Aubrey 3? No, play.
No. So just wanted to give a quick shout out to Destiny for our anniversary. It's actually technically tomorrow, but yeah, just wanted to say what's up and shout that out.
Happy anniversary, Destiny and RB3.
Thank y'all.
We love you guys equally.
Thank y'all.
Damn, bro, why you gotta be so cute though?
I mean,
I remember when you guys met and you and I went to go see a movie and you're like, yeah, I met this girl Destiny, and I was like, oh yes.
Oh yeah, I do remember
so
that.
That's crazy. Yeah, we were literally at ArcLight.
Yeah, it was. I think we saw 1917. I do remember that. Yeah, I do remember that.
Damn.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Look at y'all, man, being all cute and shit.
Yeah. Shout out to Destiny. She's probably not watching right now though. Today's her aunt's birthday, so shout out to her. Yeah.
Alrighty, guys, let's move on to a little bit of a serious topic, and a topic that I feel like should be talked about a lot more when it comes to movie media in general. I saw Twitter go kind of quiet last night talking about this, if I'm being honest, and I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. But Ray Fisher released a statement basically talking about Walter Hamada, the racism that he saw at Justice League. That's basically the same thing that he's been talking about for quite a long time. And Jeff Johns, the racism he saw from Jeff Johns and the cover-ups that Walter Hamada took part in. And Ray Fisher basically expressed his disappointment with being cut out from the Flash movie because of him speaking up. I really want to get your guys' thoughts on this whole statement, on this whole thing. And I'm going to start with you, RB3, man.
Well, obviously, if you watched this show for a number of times, you've known, or a number of times, if you watched the show at all at any point, when we talked about this story, you know, I've been firmly on the side of Ray Fisher. I believe everything he's saying. I think there is a total lack of accountability, especially in the entertainment industry. And I think, you know, the things he's alleging are serious, you know, allegations, and they should be heard and taken seriously. And the fact that they're not being heard is insane, right? So, you know, when this all came out, when a few weeks ago, when it all came out that the investigation was getting closed up and everything, I thought that was at least a step in the positive direction. I thought that was at least like we're heading towards maybe a positive resolution. But of course, obviously, like that's not the case. And then, you know, the reports came out about him not being part of the Flash. And, you know, even those initial reports made it seem like he opted out of it, like he chose not to be a part of it. But then what his letter ultimately ended up exposing is that, no, he wanted to be a part of it. He wanted to be in it, but they, you know, made an executive decision to cut him out, right? And I think that just goes to show like the lack of anybody in the system genuinely caring about this situation, you know? This whole talk of, you know, and what's especially concerning is like this whole idea of like this hierarchy, right? Like he wanted to speak to someone at the top because he felt like the people below weren't hearing his voice necessarily. People were protecting friends, you know, allies protecting allies. But for this young black actor coming straight out of Broadway onto this big superhero movie, when he's alleging mistreatment that frankly has been going on in this industry for a long time, it just hasn't been talked about. When he's bringing that up to light and confronting that, he's getting shunned, he's getting pushed around, and the fact that he's a leader who's standing up on this front, and you know that's just aggravating him even more, and that's just further fueling Warner Brothers to keep silencing him and keep denouncing him and keep, you know, shoving things like, you know, out of this, you know, out of what we're going to see. So what I would love to see now is the rest of the cast of the Justice League comment on this, right? Like at this point, you know, we saw initially like there was a good wave during the summer, particularly like during the, you know, at the beginning of the Black Lives Matter thing of standing with Ray Fisher, right? But where's that support now, especially when all of this information is coming out? Where's Zack Snyder's support now that this investigation is going on? Now that it has reached the top levels of Warner Brothers, are they willing to speak on that issue now? You know, at the same time, this is also coming out during a time where a lot of the creators at WB are upset because their movies got thrown up on HBO Max without them being told about it, right? So, if they're willing to speak up, if people are willing to speak up about their movies getting put up there and losing some financial gain, when are they going to be willing to step up and speak up for Ray Fisher on his behalf? Because he's frankly someone in this situation who doesn't have the power going up against all the power. And the fact that he's doing as the fact that he's been able to do what he's done so far and get this much information out to people is astonishing, but it's still not enough. And unfortunately, we're looking at a situation where he might be blacklisted for a considerable amount of time. And we've seen blacklisting work before with like Monique and all these things. And eventually people come back, but that's a struggle that we shouldn't even see anymore. For blowing the whistle on corruption and racism and injustice in the industry shouldn't come at the expense of losing your livelihood. So I personally feel like this is going to end up being, Ray Fisher is going to end up being the Colin Kaepernick of the film industry. And as time goes on, we're going to see how his career progresses, if he's going to get more parts. I feel like, the True Detective thing, that's also a Warner's AT&T project. They probably just do that for him, but I don't know if that's going to lead to anything else. What agencies are going to continue to back him, with, these relationships that are going to keep going on. It's a curious thing. I just want to see, in the same way that Colin Kaepernick, got kicked out of the NFL, but, later in history, he was later ratified and he got a good deal with Nike and all that kind of stuff. I hope we eventually see that down the road for Ray Fisher. I hope that there's maybe a Netflix that comes in and, maybe gives him a shot and promotes him. You're talking about how, Mank was kind of a middle finger to the industry. That'd be a dope move on Netflix's part to kind of embrace Ray Fisher and show that there could be a different standard and practices in how we do things, right? That could be something we could look at. Or, it could just be something where Warner Brothers actually does issue an apology. What makes me sick is when they bring up those old tweets from like the beginning of the Black Lives Matter protest and Warner Brothers is like, oh, we stand with our creators, all this stuff. And then like, fam, this is literally the exact opposite of what you've been saying and what you've been preaching about. And frankly, all of your actions up until this point have been the exact opposite of supporting your creators, have been the exact opposite of supporting the people, not even just your Black creators, but just your creators on even communicating that you're throwing them on the streaming services, right? And let's not even get to the Black. How many Black directors do you see doing Warner Brothers pictures? Like, I mean, honestly, I can't think of a lot just off the top of my head. Like, I just really can't. When I think of Warner Brothers, and when you think of Warner Brothers, you think of like the filmmakers, the auteurs. But then also when you think of it, what auteurs do you think about? My mind immediately goes to Clint Eastwood, Christopher Nolan. Yeah. Affleck, Denis Villeneuve. I mean, all very, 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 very talented directors. But, when you look at somebody like a Netflix, you think of like an Ava DuVernay, or you look at other studios, you think of other people. But it's just, I don't know. I don't like that's the direction that this studio is going. And it also hurts me because I'm a big fan of Warner Brothers. Like, as I said before, I think that they're one of the oldest studios and they're cool. And I think they make really good movies, but I just don't like seeing that their Black creators and their Black actors are feeling discriminated against in an industry where they shouldn't feel that way. So,
Sabrina.
Yeah, 100%. Everything RB3 said, it's just, I echo all of that. I mean, the biggest thing and something that we've seen over the last few years is people being like publicly outed as either like racist, homophobic, misogynistic, and then facing those repercussions most of the time, a lot more than usual. But for some reason in this situation, we're not seeing it at all. And it's probably because Ray Fisher is a young Black star that doesn't have a lot of films like under his belt. And that's the thing. And he's kind of alone in this. Like we said, we saw people saying like, I stand with Ray Fisher. And now they kind of lost that steam, even though this is a person that they've worked with. This is a human who is just trying to act. They're trying to continue their lives, do the thing that they love. And he's just being shafted so much, like over and over again. It's one of those things where you have to hold these people accountable. You have to. That people are going to remember this. Everybody growing up who's young right now, people who are starting out in the film industry, they're going to remember this. And so all of the people who are already like higher ups, things like that, like we will not forget. And that's the thing. It's like, it's really hard for me to take anything that they're doing seriously. Warner Brothers had so many controversies over the last year. Obviously, this is the biggest and most important, but they've had all the little stuff with like Ezra Miller, with Amber Heard, all of that stuff, and they're kind of just sweeping everything under the rug. But this is, exactly. But this is like too important to do so. You need to take a stand. You can't just sit idly back and like take him out of the Flash movie, silence Ray Fisher in that way. Like, I really hope that people continue to like be by his side during this time and like advocate for him, because people shouldn't be thinking about the fact that they might lose their careers over just talking about how they were mistreated in the workplace. Those people shouldn't be allowed to be in the workplace, the people that are mistreating others.
Yeah, the problem is that it's at the top, right? Where it's always the homie. If it's anyone else, it's fine. But if it's the person at the top, oh, you can't do that, right? Which is complete BS, because you should be able to do that regardless. The first thing I want to say is that there is a false narrative, and this is something that I was talking to my parents about. Anyone who lives in Hollywood knows this, but there's this false narrative that racism doesn't exist in Hollywood. And I'm telling you guys, it does. And I'm telling you, it's amplified. It's everywhere. You see it in casting rooms. You see it in executive offices. You see it everywhere. Hollywood is extremely, extremely white. It's extremely racist. I worked at a production company, and I was literally the only person of color that worked there for quite a while. And that's saying a lot. Also, the thing that I really want to speak up on is I have to call out film media, man, movie media, the whole industry, because I really do feel like, man, they really come out and support anything and everyone else. But for some reason, and I was trying to figure it out last night, why they don't seem to be supporting Ray Fisher, or at least saying anything about Ray Fisher, and almost kind of turning on him. A lot of media companies, IndieWire, Variety, a couple other articles that were kind of being written by Ray Fisher, kind of seeming like he's a troublemaker, like he's just talking out of his butt, like he's just trying to stir up some crap, he's just, and I was like, wait a minute, isn't this the kind of stuff that we speak up against in general, when people are like, oh, he's just saying this, and it's like, wait a minute, I thought we were against the people who would say that they're just saying this, but now because it's Ray Fisher, we're against him. We're backing up this giant media company instead of backing up one actor, creator who is speaking up on an issue. To me, that's a big issue. And to me, I think I found the reason why last night, and you guys might disagree with me, but I went down a thread of I stand with Ray Fisher, and they all happen to be Zack Snyder fans. And I really do feel like there's this weird media resentment from film media who hate Zack Snyder with all their heart, so much that they're just like, F anyone who's associated with Zack Snyder, including Ray Fisher, because the Zack Snyder fans went after me. And I'm here to tell you guys, that's not how it works. I don't care if Zack Snyder fans went after you. This isn't Zack Snyder, this is Ray Fisher. And just because he's in his movie, and just because he has his support, and just because they're friends, doesn't mean that cancels out the racism, and doesn't mean the racism never existed. It does. And that's such a frustrating thing to me, that movie media has such this weird little quiet vendetta against Zack Snyder, to the point that now they're using that to be like, well, I don't know what's going on with Ray Fisher. I mean, he's doing his thing. And that to me is just, this is true, RB3. Like, back me up on that.
Well, I think it's as the Zack Snyder, for sure, it's a lot of the people who have like the Justice League, profile pictures or whatever. But I think it's also, a little piece of it is also, to a greater extent, it's like the online of it all, right? Like, it's like the fact that it's so much heat on Twitter and so much of that. Meanwhile, they're probably talking to people personally from Warner Brothers. Like, they probably got friends at Warner Brothers, like these journalists and all these people. And, they're probably getting fed some Warner Brothers smear campaign or smear merchantry on their end, So meanwhile, they're getting the smear merchantry, or, subtly. They're not gonna say explicitly, coded it in a little, in like talk that they, that they write these articles in, like, but there's not enough substantial things, or there's not enough this or whatever. They code that in the little talk that they do. But on top of that, it's also, it's not the same kind of like, yes queen when it, or something like that, or the same kind of like woke activism that a lot of these journalists like. A lot of times when they see like the I Stand with Ray Fisher stuff, sometimes it's outlets like Geeks of Color or like us who talk about it, but a lot of times it is the Justice League profile picture people, and that frankly turns them off too. So it's a little bit of everything, and it's just a really foul and evil system that's kind of contributing to this, you know.
But to me, that's just such BS, though, man. I don't know. I don't understand how you could be like, oh, I hate Zack Snyder so much that I'm just not going to support Ray Fisher. Like, how stupid can you be?
I feel like people aren't even paying attention to the severity of the story because it's somebody who doesn't, his like only big role is Justice League. So not only Zack Snyder, it's just that if they didn't see Justice League, if they've never even heard of Ray Fisher, it almost just goes over their heads, where it should just be like, oh, somebody's mistreated in Hollywood and people need to be held accountable for this. It should be something people pay attention to, but it's almost like people don't care. Like you said that it's one of these things where people think Hollywood isn't full of like racism and sexism and everything like that, but it truly is. It's not nearly as progressive as people think it is.
It's not.
So it's not at all. It's just kind of like this elaborate little like ruse, you know. It's like you get one person of color writing on a show, and it's like, bam, we're so diverse, and like that's not a thing at all. So what I think the main thing is that people just aren't paying attention because he's not a big name actor. Maybe if we had like a lot of the bigger actors say something like this, more people would be paying attention to it. But unfortunately, people don't really care because it's Ray Fisher, and Ray Fisher was only in Justice League, so it's not paying attention to what's actually important. It's just like, oh, this guy was mistreated, whatever. It's Warner Brothers. Also, who wants to sever ties with Warner Brothers? I mean, if you speak up against Warner Brothers, clearly they're very quick in just being like, all right, peace. Like, we don't care. I wonder how their relationship is going to be with Christopher Nolan after all the stuff he said. Like, they're very serious about that. And
I think this will be the perfect time for. And again, I hate to make this call, but unfortunately, when our quote unquote white allies say they're standing with us, they're not really, right? And the studio system has failed, you know, Ray Fisher. Now, unfortunately, this is the time I got to call on the black creators, you know, like the Ava DuVernays, the Spike Lees, you know, Spike, put them in the next Netflix movie or something. Ava, put them in, you know, whatever, or you know, what, Ryan Coogler, put him in Black Panther 2. How about that? Just flip it on all over his head, you know. That's, I mean, at this point, you know, because we know what the system does to these kind of creators, and we know what this does. But, you know, I think at this point, you know, it's going to have to be somebody from like the black community who's going to have to stand next to Ray Fisher in order to help him get back up there. Or maybe, I mean, you know, even if it's Tyler Perry, I mean, I don't want to see him going, you know, not necessarily that route, but hey, Tyler, Tyler's shooting a lot of TV shows right now. He got like 4 TV shows in production simultaneously. So he got something for Ray Fisher if needed. Also, I'm sorry. I was also going to say, real quick. Just saw that One Night in Miami movie. Absolutely brilliant. But also, there's plenty, you know, we talk a lot about like the British actors and British black actors, or at least we're going to talk about that on tomorrow's Meaning Of episode. You know, with British actors and British black actors and all these kind of, you know, kind of cross-generation stuff. Ray Fisher is a black stage actor, black directors. This is your opportunity to get a really talented black actor that y'all been, you know, fetishizing over the British over for being trained. This guy's trained. He's well documented in his training. So make sure y'all cast him as something.
I want to address the chat because the chat is kind of going off on like this whole thing saying like Ray Fisher doesn't give any details. He doesn't say anything. What is he really saying? What are the accusations? To me, number one, I think he's made it pretty clear. He said that there's been comments been said on set from various creators, including Jeff Johns, including Joss Whedon, who frankly were extremely racist, were extremely unprofessional, and he acted like a clown on set, confirmed by Gal Gadot, who said, yes, he did act like a clown, and he did act like a complete unprofessional asshole. And Ray Fisher said he was a racist asshole, and he said racist comments towards him. That's the accusation. As far as people saying they want details, hey, he's working with the investigation, man. He made that clear. So my thing is like, how many details you want? You want this you want video evidence of people saying the N-word towards him or something like that? Like, to me, it just makes me upset when people are like, give me the video evidence, give me the audio evidence. Like, bro, like, what are you talking about, man? Yeah. That's been confirmed by Gal Gadot. It's been confirmed by Walter Hamada himself said that those comments were real, and that yes, they did act unprofessional on set, and that yes, racist comments were said on set. They confirmed it. They just decided to cover up the Jeff Johns part of it because they're friends. And that's the whole thing.
And also too,
it's easy, bro. You can follow this.
Yeah, and also too, there's this stuff about the hairstylist, the black hairstylist being fired from set as well. That was also a big prominent thing. But also
they didn't credit his barber.
Yeah, they didn't credit his barber, exactly. So but I mean, there's also, those are the little things, right? But there's you know, when you talk about like what's the details, what's the proof, sometimes, you know, when it comes to situations of racism, it's not like an individual case. It's an overwhelming circumstance of like the entire environment. It's the entire tone. It's feeling like isolated and feeling like the only man in the entire group. That's partially part of the racial experience, especially in Hollywood. So, you know, it might not be something that you could pin down into individual particular details, but I'm sure there's a lot of little things throughout each individual day that he could point to. And I'm sure he has pointed to in his 55-minute conversation with one of the head guys at the studio. And what did that guy say to him on the phone? Sorry, what you're asking for is above your pay grade. You want to talk to the head boss? That's above your pay grade. That's, you know, what kind of standards do we have? What kind of hierarchy that we have that we're going to prioritize, you know, this structure, this kind of hierarchy, and when there's a studio that's quote unquote dedicated to its creators and dedicated to our social justice and social rights, that's not human rights. That's not human resources. It's not good HR. This is not good on any level. So.
Yeah, this is what I don't understand. This happens a lot in different environments, but because it happened in the Hollywood system, it gets even more triple down and quadruple down covered up. When there's so many different examples of people being racist in different workplaces and in different work environments. And again, this was confirmed by everyone. It was confirmed by the investigation. Just because you don't have video evidence of people saying the N-word doesn't mean it didn't happen. If it's already been confirmed by various people, including actors and actresses that were on set, then I don't know what the issue is as far as people being like, I don't believe him, he's making shit up. I'm like, why would he make shit up? Like, he's literally got everything to lose, which we see now that he is losing, because it's the biggest, or one of the biggest, Hollywood systems and Hollywood studios in the world. And it's been around forever. So I don't know. To me, this is simple. To me, this is anything complex. People shouldn't necessarily, you know, take some microscope and try reading, you know, confirmation hearings and shit. Like, bro, just take in what it is and don't question so much about, oh, the validity and all this. It's like, bro, even like Walter Hamada himself confirmed it.
It's what we see all the time, that people just don't believe victims. People victim blame. They find a way to spin it around. And that's the thing, is that that's not okay. And that's how change doesn't happen if you sit there and you go like, well, who knows? Were we there? Well, we don't know the full story. He doesn't have to go into details. He could just say point blank, this happened, something along these lines happened, and we have confirmation from people who were there. And that's enough. Like, we don't need to know every single exact detail on every single thing that they exactly said. It's not justified at all. If you make a racist remark, a racist comment, anything like that, that is wrong. In a workplace, anywhere, at a grocery store, anywhere, guess what? It's not okay.
Yeah, and also this is the top guys. These are the directors. These are the top guys. This isn't some PA saying some shit.
Yeah.
This is the guy who's literally giving you commands and orders and directions as what to do on set. So if you feel uncomfortable with this guy, and every single actor did feel uncomfortable with him, then there is a problem. Like, there just is. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I just think, it's just people who want to justify whatever and not believing. These are the same people who, you know, don't believe, who victim blame, who are, you know, frankly ignorant and stupid to a lot of the issues that really pertain to stuff and especially this country, but especially in this industry. So I don't know. I feel really bad about that, but we did get our first dislike. So shout out to whoever garbage person. It's probably Starfire in the chat, but shout out to them for hating our balls so much that, I don't know. I guess we're getting too woke, man. If we get woke, stay woke. But hey, and for all the dislikes that we just got, let's try quadruple that with likes. I know there's still some people in the chat. There's some of y'all that still haven't liked this video, so make sure you like this video. And if you're watching on replay, like as well, and leave a comment, because comments are greatly appreciated. It really helps us grow. And if you saw the video in the beginning, we have a Patreon. Support us on Patreon. That's the brand new Patreon, First Cut Studios. Go for it. Oh, PC.
PC donated $10. I kept picturing Jeff Fisher logo Rams. Just googled Ray and Lord have mercy. I have a weakness for Virgos. Anyways, keep up the good work, guys.
Wait, did PC say she has a weakness for Virgos?
Yes.
Hey, I'm a Virgo too. His birthday's the day before mine. He's September 8th. I'm September 9th.
Oh, word. And my mom's birthday is September 7th. So look at that.
And my mom's the 12th and my dad's the 19th. September is popping.
Yeah, September popping. Yeah, September big popping.
Damn, bro. March. I'm coming up, bro.
Uh-oh, there you go.
I'm getting up there, man. It's going to be the big one, too, so I don't know about it. I might just, like, fall over and die on my birthday, so we'll see. Either way, guys, thank you so much for joining us in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for liking this video if you have already. If you haven't, please do so. Thank you for listening to us. We really do appreciate each and every one of you guys. RP3, where can... Oh,
I'm sorry. I didn't want to apologize to Starfire. They did actually like the video. They did say they liked the video. Cool. So that wasn't the dislike.
We'll find out later who disliked us. It's probably some rando.
Yeah.
Because we don't get too many. Yeah. But either way, RB3, where can everyone find you?
Oh, we're just in the show. We're in the show.
Yeah, man.
Then we're not talking about Chris Evans as Captain America and then?
Yo.
Nah, that's clown shit, bro. That's some clown shit. I don't want to talk about that.
What's the cloud about it?
It's just not, it's a non-story. I don't get why Twitter blew up about it. I'm sorry. This is me getting real, and I'm not allowed to get real because it's Marvel.
Oh, no, I get it.
That's a non-story. Sorry.
Hey, I get it. You know what? I'm going to just say my piece. Chris Evans... If we see him in a small amount, sure, I'm here for it. I don't want to see him in a big amount at all. It doesn't make sense, and Marvel has absolutely no stakes. It's like if we lose somebody, bam, Black Widow has a movie now. Or like, now we lost him, yeah, we're going to see him again. I don't want to see that. I want them to nurture the people that they have going forward in these phases. I don't want them to stick so much with the past. Like Kylo Ren said, like, let the past die. Yeah. You know, I mean, let's go forward.
The whole point of Bucky and Winter Soldier Bucky and Falcon is literally to say this is the new Captain America. So to me, it's just like, who cares? So unless you have another topic, unless you want to talk Harden.
You don't think it's going to be in WandaVision? I don't know. I guess I kind of want to speculate a little bit about it. I mean, maybe in WandaVision, maybe we see something in Doctor Strange 2, you know, maybe in
like Spider-Man a multiverse where he's alive or something, maybe.
Yeah, maybe he comes back as the Winter Soldier or something. I don't know. I know they're doing that animated What If thing. I'm excited for that.
To quote my Latino brothers, that's all I'm going to say. It just means so. Yeah, I don't care, man. I'm being honest.
Whatever.
Unless you have any other stories. You want to talk KD, Kevin Durant,
no.
Kyrie. Where's Kyrie? The search for Kyrie.
The search for Kyrie lives on. He hasn't showed up in like 2 weeks.
Seriously, where's Kyrie Irving, bro? Calling out NBA. Yes, that's him. He's disappeared.
Yeah.
Yo, he got abducted. He disappeared. By
yeah. No, I swear that guy. I love Kyrie, man, but he's insane.
He didn't disappear. They got him on video. No, they got him on video.
But no one heard from him since then.
They got him on video on 4K at a birthday party. At his sister's birthday party.
How'd they get you in 4K though?
How they got him? You can see him clearly. It says him. It says his sister's name in there. Oh yeah,
But ever since that video, no one has had any contact with him. No one knows where he is.
Hey man,
seriously, tweet out hashtag Where is Kyrie? Or the search for Kyrie. We need to find him because he's one of my favorite basketball players ever. So shout out to my brother Kyrie Irving.
Getting ready to drop a mixtape. That's all.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, he'll do something, man. I was actually kind of with him with not playing during the Capitol riots, but ever since then he disappeared. So
Kyrie just looks for any excuse not to play though. So that's just
that's true. But then again, Kyrie's the kind of guy who donates like $1 million to a lot of funds, bro. Like he donated $1 million to the Native American Standing Rock Foundation. He donated another mill to Black Lives Matter. Like homie drops mills.
Yeah.
So Uncle Drew has got it going on.
Uncle Drew, yeah. I mean, he really started the whole being a basketball and a movie star, basketball player and a movie star thing before LeBron did it, huh? When we really think about it.
Yeah, man. That's my boy Kyrie. So if anyone has any details, please contact Steve Nash of the Phoenix Suns and of the Brooklyn Nets. And
Phoenix Suns.
I know, I messed up. My bad. I'm in Brooklyn Nets. Contact Steve Nash and contact me. Let me know. I'll let him know. I'll hit him up on the DMs. Either way, guys, thank you so much for watching. RB3, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DirectorRB3.
Sabrina.
Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SabrinaXMonica, and then also on Twitter at SabrinaOnFilm.
You can find me at Squad Leader Race. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for the Schmodown Awards, where I will be participating. I will be in the chat, in the group, in the live stream, whatever it's going to be. I will be there. Also, make sure you guys tune in for Sunday for absolute carnage and war that is happening on Attack on Titan. Everyone's going to die. That's my big theory. But either way, guys, make sure you guys tune in for that and subscribe to First Cut.
The meaning of tomorrow, too. The meaning
of tomorrow. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm so sorry. The meaning of tomorrow, we are talking about small acts. Make sure you guys tune in for that as well. And Patreon. Make sure you guys tune into the Patreon. Join the Discord if you want to join the lowest tier. I will be in the chat, literally just talking about sports.
Oh, yeah. Discord's popping so far. Discord's popping.
Anyways, guys, for the First Cut crew, we are peacing out. Peace.
This ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. With the 4/5 divide you in half. You getting at me equals a bloodbath. You do the math.